Willie D Live.
What's up, family? If it's your first time checking out the show, let me know what city, what state you're coming in from. If you're outside of the U.S., let me know what country you're representing. Throw up your flag. Family, I need you to smash up the like, smash up the like, smash up the likes. Also, if you have not done so already, after you subscribe, there's a little bell next to your subscription button on YouTube. Go ahead and click that thing right now so you can get your notifications each time I drop a new video like this. That way you'll be in the loop. I'm going to let a few hundred of y'all come in, then I'm going in. But in the meantime and in between time, I'm going to give some shots out to the early birds, starting with dun, dun, dun. What's up, Mikey? What it do? Yeah. What's up? Who else we got in this chat? We got the chat in the chat. We got Robert Simmons. What's up, Rob? Jude Mark Rockamore. What's up, Isaac Gary? Pamela Hamilton. Alicia Smith. Moses. Chet. What up, Chet? Angela Johnson, Jonathan Combs, Uncle G, Cambria, LaShawn, Lisa, Mr. Tiptoe. What is that? God on far more. I don't know what that is. Is that Gideon something? Motor City East Side. Got Portia, I believe. Beat Bet. All right, fam. Jonathan, I see you. Going in, fam. Gene Thomas, going in, going in, going in. Yeah, man. It's going down. It's going down today, fam. Whole lot to talk about today. A lot of things going on. Whew, boy, we got some crazy things going on in the news today. We got a road rage incident out of New York. Really bad situation right there. We got the United States bullying little old bitty Nigeria. Yeah, you know, Nigeria can't defend itself. So basically, any country who has the military might can just go over there and do whatever they want to do. We got a couple of youngsters who found out the hard way. One of the 10 commandments said, thou shalt not steal. And there's consequences for stealing in America. You know, it can get you killed. We're going to talk about that. We got the fired Michigan coach, Sharon Moore, whose mistress did a number on him. I mean, he's going through it and he's still locked up behind all of this stuff. We'll get into that. But first, breaking news out of Australia. We got a mass shooting in Australia. Now, we're used to mass shootings in the United States, so much so that we're almost desensitized to it. It's not even a big deal, seems like, anymore. Nobody really cares because it appears that nobody is doing anything about it. Well, Australia probably has been checking out a lot of U.S. news lately because they had a couple of uncivilized mutts that opened fire on a group of people, and 12 people are now dead. This on a beach, fam. A beach. Can you imagine? A beach is one of those places where you're supposed to go to for relaxation. You know, you go there, you know, to relax, kick it, you know, reflect. And something like this happened. Can you imagine just relaxing on the beach, fam? You know, most people don't have street clothes on the beach. You're in your bikini, your shorts or whatever. And some uncivilized mutt just start opening fire on you. Check it out.
Another deadly mass shooting, this one in Australia, where police say 2 gunmen opened fire on Sydney's famous Bondi Beach, killing at least 11 people. One of the suspects also is dead. Another is in custody. NBC's Raf Sanchez is following the latest developments for us. Raf, what more can you tell us?
Well, Willie, Australian authorities are calling this a terrorist attack targeting the Jewish community as it was celebrating the first night of Hanukkah. Here's what we know. As you said, 2 gunmen opened fire with long guns. There are at least 11 people killed, including one of the shooters. The second gunman is in custody in critical condition, and authorities are now investigating whether a third individual was potentially involved. Now, amid the horror, there was also heroism. There is a video that is a little difficult to watch, but I want to show it to you in just a second here. You see, if we have that video, you see the man in white there running up and tackling that suspected gunman. There is a struggle, and you can see he appears to wrestle what looks like a shotgun out of that man's hands. Now, we're
going to stop right there really quick so we can salute old buddy. I ain't got no problem with that.
Individual in white has not at this point been identified, but local leaders are hailing what they say were extraordinary acts of personal courage by people who just jumped in at the scene. It is very likely that that man saved some lives by appearing to disarm that gunman. We know that at least 29 people were taken to hospital. Among them are 2 police officers. Authorities are saying police were on the scene and engaging in a gun battle with these shooters within just minutes. Police are also saying that they found a car linked to the killed gunman, which does appear to contain improvised explosive devices. Now, the bomb squad there in Sydney is probing that vehicle. They are looking for more clues. They are looking for more details about the motives. And, Willie, a massive police investigation is now underway. But we can already say at this point that this is one of the worst gun massacres in Australian history. Willie?
Just terrifying images there at one of the favorite places, not just in Australia, but in the world. As you say, a Jewish celebration, the first night of Hanukkah, some 1,000 people gathered there. And it just gives you chills, breathtaking to watch the heroism of that one man to disarm one of the gunmen, but not before, as you say, 11 people were killed. So where will this investigation, Raf, go now from here? You have one of the gunmen dead. You have one, as you say, in critical condition. There were improvised devices, bomb disposal units being dispatched there. Clearly, this was planned, a long time coming. What are the next steps here?
Yeah, so Willie, we are heading into the nighttime now in Australia, but you have a massive crime scene along Bondi Beach now. Lots of potential areas for evidence, areas for clues. Police there will be looking at the firearms. Guns are quite unusual in Australia. It has one of the lowest gun death rates of any developed country. And that's partly, Willie, because there was a major gun massacre in Australia in 1996. It's called the Port Arthur Massacre. More than 30 people were killed. And the Australian government responded extremely swiftly with a new wave of gun laws. It's difficult to buy weapons in Australia. There was an enormous national gun buyback. And that is part of the reason that this is just so shocking for people around the world, but especially in Australia, where gun violence is unusual. As you say, they have one of the suspected gunmen in custody. They are describing him as being in critical condition. We don't know if at some point they are going to be able to interrogate this individual to find out more about the planning, about the motivation here, but they will be scouring the social media accounts of the people that were involved. They will be looking at the weapons, and of course, they will be looking at that vehicle, which was found near the scene. It appears that those improvised explosive devices did not go off. We do not know whether the attackers tried to employ them during the attack or not. From what we can see from video at the scene, the 2 individuals who were dressed in black firing those long guns from a bridge, an elevated position down onto the crowds below. You can see one of the gunmen there on that bridge firing what appears to be a rifle after his comrade was disarmed by that bystander. And there was a large police response, including armed officers, to that scene. But a massive crime scene and a lot of evidence to sift through. Police are saying at this point they believe there is no further danger to the community, but police are out in force across the Sydney area and across.
I tend to believe that Australia will do something about it, and they will make moves immediately to mitigate something like that happening again. Unlike the good old USA, the greatest country on the planet. Yeah. We got another crazy story out there, fam. We got a road rage. A New York man was shot twice in his neck by an off-duty police officer during a road rage incident. The man allegedly pulled out a knife and swung before the shooting. Yeah, fam. The off-duty police officer was confronted by the man. According to the police, the confrontation began after one driver cut off another while exiting a car wash. Listen to what I'm saying, fam, because a lot of us find ourselves in these type of situations all the time. So that's when the confrontation began. One driver cut off another driver while exiting a car wash. Video shows both vehicles pulling over, with 31-year-old Wallace Fisher getting out of his car to approach the other driver, 33-year-old Anthony Simon, an off-duty Kingston police officer. And that's when SHIT hit the fan, fam. Check it out.
News of the day, a road rage shooting in Orange County caught on camera. What began as back and forth between two drivers ended in a violent face-to-face confrontation. An off-duty Kingston police officer fired several shots at the other driver, leaving him in critical condition. It happened yesterday in the town of Wawayanda. Here's Eyewitness News reporter Marcus Solis.
Seen the boy swing, he punched him, and immediately 3 shots went off.
This is that moment caught on cell phone video, though we paused part of it. The dramatic end to a road rage incident yesterday afternoon on Dolsontown Road. A witness says it started when a pickup driven by an off-duty police officer went around another car while both were exiting a nearby car wash.
Person that got cut off from the cop was tailgating him after that. The cop was brake checking him. Then the boy tried to pass him, and the cop went on the other side of the road and tried to run him off the road.
The video shows Wallace Fisher walk up to the second driver. Initial reports were that the 33-year-old brandished a knife, though it's unclear whether he's holding one as he takes a swing. The off-duty officer is identified as 33-year-old Anthony Simon of the Kingston Police Department.
I screamed, literally screamed. Like, it was one of those moments that you don't even kind of understand.
Wallace was shot twice in the neck and shoulder and is in critical but stable condition at Westchester Medical Center. Police are reviewing video and interviewing witnesses.
When he got out the car, he could have left. He could have pulled off. The same way I watched him swerve lane to lane and him get out the way or him avoid the boy from passing him. You know, I feel like the whole thing could have been avoided. On both parties, I feel like they were wrong.
So far, no charges filed against either driver as state police continue their investigation. In Wawayanda, Marcus Solis, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
What a hell of a place to live, way under. Way under. Anyway, family, that video was for educational purposes only. That's right, educational purposes only. When and if you find yourself inside of a road rage situation, do not get out of your vehicle. Do not get out of your vehicle under any circumstances. I have seen too many people exit that vehicle and get gunned down by the driver while they were still sitting in the driver's seat. I don't know what y'all be thinking. Maybe y'all don't watch TV. Maybe you don't watch the news. Maybe you're not on the internet. But I have seen literally a few dozen videos of people getting out of their car and catching hands or bullets. Yeah. And you know, bullets don't have a name. Bullets don't care how big you are. Bullets don't care how bad you are. Bullets don't care about your ethnicity. Bullets don't care about your gender or your sexuality. Bullets don't care about your religion. Bullets don't care about your age. Once that bullet leaves that chamber, it's not going to say, wait a minute, I don't think I can make it. That guy's kind of big. Let me turn around. Wait a minute. He's white. I can't go in there. He's black. He's Hispanic. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's a teenager. Bullets ain't gonna do that. Bullets just go, shoot, once it squeeze, boom. It's like that. How many times do we have to see videos like this for people to understand? And here go the thing, fam. Even with watching all these videos, I understand we're humans, and so we can talk about how we would react and how we would want to react in situations like this. And then when it happens, you're in the heat of the moment, you don't have time. Sometimes things happen just like that and escalate just like that. And so you don't really have time to think about the options that you have. You really don't. So, but the way to deal with these type of situations is to assume that everybody's packing. If you're the type of person, you're a Billy Badass, and you hot-headed, you probably shouldn't be driving. You probably shouldn't drive. Yeah, you probably shouldn't drive. Don't drive. Because you're going to get yourself hurt, or you're going to get somebody else hurt. Don't drive. Do not drive. When you're on the road, you have to remember the word grace. None of us are perfect drivers. Every single one of us who has ever driven a vehicle has cut somebody off, whether you did it purposely or inadvertently. You did it. You've cut somebody off. You have driven too close to somebody. You've driven too slow in front of somebody. You was driving a little too fast in that neighborhood. We've all done it. You've weaved across the line before. If you can do it, if you've done it, why not give the other drivers grace? You've blown your horn before at people. Sometimes you've been patient and you don't blow your horn, but other times, man, you're trying to get somewhere. So you don't even think about it. You just blow the horn. Now the person in front of you, they're mad. Really, that horn should be more of a warning than something that you use to startle people. It's really, really people blow the horn to get people's attention, to bring some attention or whatever, right? But a lot of times people weaponize those horns and they blow it louder than they have to. They hold on louder. They just, a little tap is cool, but nah, you fight words, man. Fighting words sometimes. That could be fighting words. So when you hear that, you got to think to yourself, well, shit, I've done it before and nobody pulled out a gun and shot me. So why am I pulling out a gun to shoot somebody because they blew their horn? Pay attention to what's going on around you, and most people won't ever feel the need to blow their horn. Think about what I'm saying, fam. This is just common sense. Like, give people grace because you've been given grace. How many times have a line formed on the street? The traffic is going in one direction and you drive all the way up in the front and then cut in front of the line. How many times have you done that? How many times have you done it? Even if you've done it once, you should give grace. And even if you haven't done it once, you should give grace. You know why? Because that's part of the driving experience. some people cut the line. You got to think to yourself, if somebody cut the line on me, am I going to kill them? Well, if you start blowing your horn and F you and this and they do it, you don't know how that person's going to react. You know how you're going to react. You know what you feel. You know what you're about to say. But you don't know who's in that other car. You don't know if that person's going to match your energy. Now, I know some of y'all some Billy badasses and y'all don't give a damn. Well, if you don't give a damn, then okay, I got it. Just don't give a damn and throw your life away. I got it. You don't care. You don't care about your life like that. I got it. But if you give a damn, you think things through. You look at the details and you say to yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen? Anytime during conflict, you have to always think about what is the worst thing that could happen? What's the worst thing that could happen? Now, some of y'all get involved in conflict and you think the conflict is so petty, nobody could possibly get killed behind this. Man, conflict is conflict. Once you enter the conflict zone, you do not know where the next person will take it. Hell, you don't even know where you're taking. This is how so many people who've never been in trouble with the law end up pulling out guns and shooting people and going to jail, end up in prison for 20, 30 years. Ain't never been to jail before. But they thought that they had a right to pull out the gun and shoot somebody just because somebody kicked their car. You know, you driving down the street, motorcycle, you know, you get a little too close to the motorcycle and they feel like, you know, you pretty much, you know, impeded their progress in some kind of way, or you invaded their space and they decide to push your side view mirror in. Now you mad. That's your car. You mad. And you like, man, ooh. And he come running and then you boom, 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 boom. You go into prison. You go into prison. If you got a pistol, that pistol is not just for your protection. You better learn how to use that pistol, when to use it, not just how to use it. Because a lot of us, we learn how to use it, but we don't understand when to use it. You better know when to use that pistol as much as you, and as well as you know how to use that pistol. Because when to use that pistol, knowing when to use that pistol can be the difference between life and death and freedom and incarceration. Not to mention a whole lot of money you're going to have to pay in inconvenience and how it's going to take years off your life stressing because you got your future in the hands of some people who were paid to show you no mercy. This dude got popped twice in the neck, getting out of his car, walking up on a dude. Now, they say, witnesses say that the police officer was the aggressor. But the moment Buddy jumped out of his car and approached that truck, he sealed his fate. Let me tell you something, family. Remember this. When people act very aggressive, when people like try to confront you in some type of way and they're being really aggressive, oftentimes they're ready. They're ready for combat. They are ready. They are strapped. So soon as you start identifying that type of aggression, you should think to yourself, yeah, he's probably strapped. Oh, she probably strapped. Let me handle this with a great deal of caution. Because the name of the game is to play to stay. Stay alive, stay free. Stay alive, stay free. I'm not telling you don't kill, because there's always a time to kill. Let me put it like this. There might come a time to kill. First law of nature is self-preservation. So I'm never going to tell somebody to not do that. I hear a lot of people talk about, man, I'll die for mine. I'll die for mine. I ain't, yeah. Come on. You dig what I'm saying? So if you got your back up against the wall and that's the last result, that's what you got to do to preserve life, your life, and those around you, you do what you got to do. But you should absolutely keep in mind, what is the worst thing that could happen? Well, the worst thing that could happen is somebody could end up dead. The absolute worst thing that could happen is that somebody could be you. And oftentimes, when we get aggressive, we don't think like that. We just think about what we're going to do. We don't think about what the other person's going to do. And not just what the other person's going to do, but what is law enforcement going to do? What is the judicial system going to do about this? We don't factor in the law enforcement and the judicial system when we're making these decisions. We're just thinking about the person in front of us. So you have to think about all of that. You have to consider all of that when you get caught up in these confrontations. Road rage is out of control in the United States. It's so many uncivilized mutts behind the wheels of vehicles. Many of them are drunk, they're high out of their mind. Some of them are members of law enforcement. And you can always tell the ones who are high or drunk, especially the ones who are high. Because when they pull up on the scene, they get, they be wide, just ready to, and sometimes they can pull up on the scene and another officer could have things under control. They could be de-escalated. As soon as they jump out the vehicle, they come and just snatching people in, get on the car, just like that. High. It should be mandatory that these guys are drug tested at least once a week and randomly at least once a week. Random. They should have random drug testing. Maybe random drug testing once a week, period. Just random drug testing at least once a week. Because people's lives are on the line. That police officer, perhaps they should check his record. He's an off-duty police officer. Perhaps they should check his record. They say, the witnesses say the police officer was the aggressor. They say he's the one who did the cutting off first. He's the one trying to run the guy off the road. Family, when you are dealing with somebody like that, you have to think to yourself, this nut is probably ready. So a nut like that is not going to be around too long. Somebody gonna kill him or he gonna kill himself some type of way, whether it be in the physical or whether he end up in prison for a gang of years. Let that mutt crash out on somebody else. All you gotta do is just get out of the way. And that mutt gonna crash out. I confronted a lot of killers growing up, a lot of gangsters growing up, and I came out on top in a lot of those confrontations. But the thing is, if you can avoid those confrontations, you avoid them. If you can get out of the way, just get out of the way. And that person is going to end up dead, or you're going to kill somebody, you're going to be in jail. They're going to end up dead or in jail, either way. That person is going to end up dead or in jail, either way. So all you got to do is just get out of the way and let that food, like swallow your pride, get out of the way, and just let somebody else kill him. Let him kill somebody else. Just swallow your pride. Just let him kill somebody else. Let somebody else kill him. Either way, this nut is not fit for civilization. He's not fit to live amongst the civilized. So he's going to do something to trick himself out of position anyway. There's a lot of nothing people out there. They're nothing. and they want you to join the crowd. Don't join the crowd. More importantly, don't join the circus. Let's talk about the United States seizing Nigerian-owned supertanker for suspected oil theft. Yeah. They seized a Nigerian-owned supertanker allegedly for oil theft. First of all, a show of hands, fam. Who actually believes this story? Who believes that the United States actually seized that tanker because they suspected the occupants of stealing oil from Nigeria? Oh man, this is wild, family. This is wild. I gotta get into this story with y'all because it is just, it's not hard to believe, but it is sad that Africa don't have one country who can protect itself from the United States. Out of 54 countries, they don't have one country who can protect itself from the United States or any other superpower. The United States Coast Guard is in a joint operation with U.S. Navy, has intercepted a Nigerian-owned supertanker, Skipper, following intelligence reports linking the vessel to crude oil theft, piracy, and a series of transnational criminal activities spanning multiple jurisdictions. The Skipper, a 20-year-old, very large crude carrier with IMO number blah, 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 has long operated in West African and South American waters, according to a report by Vanguard. Though the tanker is reportedly owned and managed by Lagos-based Thermaros Global Ventures Ltd, its official registration lists Triton Navigation Corp, headquartered in the Marshall Islands, as the owner. At the time of the interception, the tanker was allegedly flying the Guyanese flag without authorization. Officials from Guyana's Maritime Administration Department, I'm just destroying this article, confirmed that Skipper does not appear in the country's ship registry, describing the vessel's use of the flag as both illegal and deceptive. So let me ask y'all this, family. What do y'all think would have happened if that was a Chinese-owned vessel? What do you think would have happened? Anybody got any idea? What would have happened? Now, remember, fam, the United States was just talking about invading Nigeria to save the Nigerian Christians from the Nigerian Muslims. And next thing you know, they're seizing oil tankers. This took place, by the way, just about 2 days after the United States seized a Venezuelan tanker, oil tanker, allegedly because they had drug dealers aboard. Africa. Y'all better learn how to protect yourselves, because ain't no bully going to protect, no bully's going to respect you if you can't protect yourself. Bullies just sit back and say, what do I want to take now? I think I'll take a tanker. Let's just take it. Look, man, why do we not? They don't want to negotiate. They don't want to give it up. They don't want to just give up the tanker. Let's just take it. Okay. Who gonna stop us? Who gonna check us? Nobody in Africa can check them. Nobody. If China was smart, if China had the disrespect biogene of America, China would offer Nigeria the protection, because I'm gonna tell you why they should do it. They need to stop America from taking over and colonizing all of these other places, because the more land that America is able to occupy, the closer they get to China. Imagine if China was as ruthless as America. Imagine if they just came into America. See, China come in and they typically try to work a deal. You know, it ain't the best situation, but at least they'll go in and try to work a deal. America go in and try to work a steal. They ain't trying to make no deals. They trying to go in and steal, take, rob, rape, pillage. Africa don't have one country. Out of 54 countries, they don't have one country that can protect itself against America. Not one. By contrast, the countries that are in Asia, they good, because those Asian countries, well, at least the countries that are near those countries that I'll say with the exception of maybe Afghanistan, China is not going to allow America to invade Cambodia, Azerbaijan. They're not going to allow America to invade Bahrain. That's not going to happen. They're not going to allow America to invade Georgia or India, Japan, Jordan. Ain't happening. Ain't happening. That's not happening. They're not invading Indonesia. That's not happening. Yeah. They're in a bad position. You know, Nigeria is in a bad position. Can you imagine being a leader of a country? Let me back up. Not even a leader of the country. Can you just imagine being in a country and another country is talking about invading you, and you know you can't. You know that the leadership that you have can't do nothing about it. This is the same leadership that's supposed to be so strong, but now another country is talking about invading, and you know that it's nothing that your leadership can do about it. Can you imagine living in a country like that? I mean, who's surprised? The U.S. has been stealing for hundreds of years. And keep in mind, too, the U.S. is broke. So now they decide, you know what? How broke people do? Steal. A lot of times when people, not all broke people, but a lot of times that's what they turn to. They ain't got no money. Ain't got nothing. Let me just see what somebody else got. Let me go take something that somebody else got. Yeah. The United States, pirates of the Atlantic. Right now, the United States is desperate. They're grasping for straws. And they're trying to do anything and everything to bring some money into this country. Anything. And I don't even know, I don't even think it's more, I think it's more about bringing some money into Trump's pocket, into to the Trump enterprise. You know, put some more money in Jared's pockets, Trump Jr. and the other boy, put some money in their pockets. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like one big money grab to me. The US government pirates are robbing every country in the sea. I heard somebody say America is the new Somalia. The new Somalia, so that means that they bought into that lie, like Somalian pirates or this, that. No, man. Those Somali pirates, man, they can't hold a candle to the piracy that America has committed across the globe. Ain't nobody touching America. When it comes to colonization and theft, rape, murder, there ain't a country that can remotely come to America, get close to America. America has fallen, fam, right now. And the thing is that they keep on applying these Band-Aids to this open wound, this Band-Aids to gunshot wounds. It's not going to work. This was the same dude calling Somalia people pirates. And now they're pirating. Come on, family. Talk to me. Talk to me. Nigeria and all the rest of the countries in Africa, you better figure it out. You better figure it out because you knew that something like this was coming at some point. America is too jealous. America is a jealous ass nation. The people that run this country, they've always been jealous of Black progress. You cannot go over there and just have your way and just, prosper, build your country and all this stuff. You cannot build your country without building your military. You cannot own all of this stuff and can't protect it. You got a whole nation. You got skyscrapers and oil tankers, super tankers. You got all this land and the country is minerally enriched. You got all of these technological advances. A lot of thriving is happening in Nigeria. A lot of progression, a lot of progress in Nigeria. So you get all of these things and you can't protect it. Do you really own it? They ain't got one country in Africa that can protect itself against an invasion from America or China or Russia. Not one. If I'm the people, if I'm living in Africa, if I'm a citizen in any one of those countries, that doesn't give me comfort. Because America is a hating ass nation. They gonna hate, especially they hate on black and brown. They gonna hate on black and brown. So they see, oh, we over here struggling and they doing well. They over there smiling and stuff, having fun, talking about enjoying life. Let's go and kill them. Let's kill them and take their oil. Let's go over there and kill them and take something. They got it. We want it. Let's go over there and take it. And all we got to do is come up with some type of rules. And the American people fall for it because, hey, they easily tricked. They'll fall for anything. They're the dumbest people on the damn planet. So, family, we got some porch pirates. Speaking of pirates, we got some porch pirates who jumped off the porch and went and stole some stuff and got their heads knocked off. Yeah, they actually went out and stole this guy's stuff off his porch, and he put a couple of them hot things in them. He gave him some hot ones. So we have a Southwest Atlanta homeowner who was charged with aggravated assault and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony after he reportedly shot two teenagers he believed were stealing packages from his front porch. Police say the incident occurred on Thursday afternoon at the Villages of the Cascade townhome complex on Celeste Lane Southwest. Officers responding to reports of shots fired found two juveniles with gunshot wounds. One victim, a 15-year-old, was shot in the foot. The other 16 was shot in the arm and taken to a hospital in critical condition before undergoing surgery. Both teens are expected to survive. Authorities identified the homeowner as Rakeem Bradford, who admitted to shooting the teens, according to the police. Officers say the teens had allegedly followed a delivery van into the complex and were in the act of taking packages when Bradford opened fire. So it's a serious incident anytime a child is injured. But here's the deal, fam. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. This particular shooting has sparked discussion around the appropriate use of fire in defense of property, particularly amid growing concerns over package thefts during the holiday season. Police noted that porch piracy is a common complaint in the area this time of year. Bradford is currently facing charges as the investigation continues. So, the youngsters who were stealing the packages apparently didn't know that they could be shot. They are absolutely lucky that they didn't lose their lives. Now, here's the deal. Remember, I was just talking about how you got to know when to use that gun. Apparently, Buddy didn't know when to use the gun. Apparently, he didn't know that you can't just open fire on people because they're stealing packages off your porch. But here's the deal. It depends on how the prosecution approaches this. Typically, if the prosecution really wants to prosecute, they'll prosecute. If they want to get this guy a break, sometimes they'll arrest the guy. They want to give him a break. They call a grand jury. They call a grand jury, and the grand jury decides if they're going to indict or not. In this situation, he could find some sympathy from people who have had their packages stolen, from people who have had their cars broken into, their homes broken into. I think he's going to find a lot of empathy from his community and society at large. People are tired of getting their stuff taken from them. They're tired of people breaking into their homes, stealing their stuff. They work hard for their stuff, and they're tired of people stealing. And they're also tired of these young people killing. Back in the day, he shot a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old. These are just kids. He shot these kids. And, people would have a little bit more empathy for these children. But these days, even the 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds are killers. They're walking around with AKs. They're airing it out. They are killing. And I'm not talking about one incident of a killing. Some of them have multiple incidents where they've killed people. 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds. So there are a lot of people who are calling this guy a hero. Yeah, they're calling him a hero. I saw Boyce Watkins in one of the comment sections, and he said, don't try to steal from a real man. You might end up on a t-shirt. That damn near need to be. You know what? I saw Boyce Boyce posted something, I can't remember, some type of video with him rapping. It's one of them AI things, and he was rapping. It seemed like Boyce trying to slide on in on the MC side or something, because that could actually be a bar. Don't try to steal from a real man. You might end up on a t-shirt. Yeah. Yeah. You got people who are calling for this guy's freedom. They say, man, free him. Free him. Get that man a medal. Yeah. Give that man a medal. But there have been cases like this where people have stolen off people's porches or stole stuff from them, and they shot them, and they said that these people were standing their ground. So a lot of this stuff comes down to interpretation and how much the prosecution want to go after, how much the DA's office want to go after a person. That was a shooting in Houston, well, in the suburb of Houston, Pasadena, several years ago, where these Hispanic dudes had broken into this house. I believe it was two Hispanic dudes broke into a house, and the white neighbor came out of the house and shot him. Before he shot him, the white neighbor called 911 and told him what was going on. And he said, oh, they're leaving. Oh, I'm finna go out there. You know, I'm gonna shoot them or something like that, he said. And he took his gun as these guys were trying to run away, and he shot both of them, killed both of them. And guess what happened? Nothing. Nothing. The grand jury refused to indict. Now, if that ain't a clear case of cold blood, I don't know what is. He was in his house. They wasn't in his house. They were breaking into his neighbor's house. He was safe. He was safe inside of his house. His job could have been done after he called the police and said, hey, this was happening, woo, woo. But he decided to step outside of his house with a gun and gun them down. Now, it might have worked out for the average person if you come out of your house with a gun and you hold them at gunpoint until the police come. But he killed both of them and walked. Don't try this at home, because you're going to jail. The average person, especially the black person, you do something like that, you going to jail. Because what do they tell you? They say, hey, man, look, if your life is not in danger, if your life is not in imminent danger, you didn't have to kill them. Your life was not in imminent danger. You was inside of your house behind closed doors. You did not have to come outside and shoot those guys. So you go to jail. That's what they would do to the average person, especially a black person. But this white guy was able to walk because the grand jury, who usually in Harris County are usually made up of mostly white people, they let them walk. Yeah. So you better know when to use that gun and when not to use it, because you can find yours. You can go from being a victim to a victimizer in the eyes of the law. Now, here's the deal. Having said all of that, I bet you those youngsters gonna think twice before they try to steal somebody else's package off their porch. Because them bullets hurt, man. Them bullets ain't nothing nice. Those youngsters they're not victims. I don't look at them as victims. They were going in there to steal. They knew right from wrong. They were going in to steal. They went in to steal. They're not victims. They're not victims. If Buddy go in there and get himself a really good lawyer, who can express to a jury that this guy represents the average hardworking American who is tired of being a victim. Highlight some of the things he's done in his life, some of the good stuff he's done in his life. Bring some character witnesses in there. A couple of white neighbors. Always works out in America. You got a white neighbor who can speak on your behalf, talk about how great you are in the community. And he'll probably beat the case. No way possible this guy should go to jail for a bunch of years. And, you know, look, he didn't even kill him. He didn't kill him. Yeah, you can give him credit for that because he could have killed him if he wanted to. He could have killed him. But he let him make it. But he did seem like he just wanted to pop him enough to let them know I ain't the one. You're on someone else's property stealing their stuff. They went too far with this, taking this man's stuff. And he defended his property. So these boys should look at that as a lesson and a blessing. Their parents should say to themselves, good Lord, I've been trying to tell him. I've been trying to talk to him. I told him something like this would happen. Thank you, Lord, that I still got my baby. I'm not mad at this guy. If the parents should look at this as a blessing in disguise, the parents should go to law enforcement and say, do not pursue these charges. The parents should, because this guy possibly saved their lives. This is if they're not stubborn, they're not still thinking that they are good at being criminals. He may have just saved their lives because perhaps that's what it took for them to catch that snap and realize that crime is not a good idea. Stealing people's stuff off their porches it's not a good idea. He possibly could have saved their lives. Maybe this is the warning shots. You can look at it like that. Maybe these were warning shots that they needed. Each one of them needed those warning shots. You got shot in the hand and in the foot. In the arm and foot, man, call it a day. You're lucky. You're lucky to be alive. With all of the teaching his parents or whoever their guardians are were giving them, they didn't get it. They still didn't get it. And perhaps this might be the catalyst for change. Perhaps they'll change after this. And if that happens, the family should actually be thanking this man. They owe him. Because it's people out there that will kill him. It's people out there that would have killed him. And you know who I'm talking about. Oh yeah, they wouldn't have just shot him in the foot or in the arm. They would have made sure they killed him. Some of them would have walked up on him and stood over him and shot him. Parents, these can't be your babies during the day and gangsters at night. You can't have babies in the day and gangsters at night. Teach your children to stop stealing people's stuff. In fact, teach your children to not steal other people's stuff, to not take other people's stuff. Teach your children that a mistake could cost them their life. Teach your children that one wrong move could cost them their life. Where one person might let them make it totally let them run off with the package or whatever and just check their camera footage later and try to get them, let the police do it. But there are other people that's going to take the law into their own hands. You might come across a guy like this guy who decided, you know what, I'm just going to pop him. You know, you'll give him a warning. You know, you'll find a guy like that might just give him a warning, you know, like Rakim. Rakim just give him a warning. It's a warning shot. But then there's others who might decide, you know what, I'm going to give him some fatal shots. I'm going to kill him. Then you stealing off people's porches. You don't know how often that person has had somebody steal their stuff already. You don't know what type of financial situation a person in, what type of mental situation this person is in. You don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know who's on the other side of that door. You walking up to somebody's porch. A lot of y'all don't even understand that once you step into a certain area of a person's property, they get an alert. And immediately they start watching you. Anybody that comes up to a certain, within a certain distance of my property, I get an alert on my phone right here. As soon as that alert comes, I get the alert and all I do is hit one button, boom, and I can see what they're doing. So I got the advantage. I got the advantage before you start trying to steal the package. I got your movement. Soon as I get a movement, soon as my cameras pick you up, I get an alert. So I got to jump on you. So unless somehow you can teleport yourself to the porch, I can pop you before you even reach to grab something. I can take my time picking you off. Leave people stuff alone, man. That's how that go. Leave people stuff alone. Oh, fam. Let's get back into this Michigan coach. The Michigan coach who had the rendezvous, so to speak, with his assistant. This guy right here. This guy decides that he's going to step out on his woman and he's going to kick it with some other chicks. He steps out on his woman, he decides he's going to kick it with some other chicks. Well, he starts to kicking it with one chick a little too hard. Reportedly, he had a relationship with this one woman for several years. And that woman is the one who brought him down after he fired her, following their relationship being exposed. I read part of the story to y'all. The woman involved in an inappropriate relationship with Sharon Moore still has her job with the Michigan Athletic Department. Family. He fired her. And then the athletic director fired him. And so I guess she was never actually officially fired, or whatever happened, she ended up with her job and he gets fired. I don't know how that go in corporate America. I thought that maybe both get fired. If somebody's gonna get fired, you fire both people, or you just fire him because she's a subordinate. I don't know, but she still has her job. Sharon Moore is out of here. Ain't that something? Earlier this week, Sharon was fired for his role as the leader of the Wolverines football program, with the school stating it was with cause due to his inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Fast forward 2 days, and after the scandal that ensued as a result of the termination, the school told us the employee remains on staff despite the affair. Who is us? That's TMZ. There is no change in her employment status, the school said. Moore, who is married with 3 kids, was arrested on Wednesday after allegedly breaking into the staffer's home and threatening to harm himself. He now faces charges of home invasion, stalking, and breaking and entering. Officials said after the breakup, Moore allegedly sent her multiple text messages and called her for the next several days, leading her to report the situation to Michigan, which was already investigating. So officials said that after their breakup, Moore allegedly sent her multiple text messages and called her for the next several days, leading her to report the situation, which was already being investigated. When somebody has information on you that could interrupt your bag, you're in a bad position. Especially when you're talking about somebody you're in a relationship with. Because the moment it goes bad, they can decide to expose you. You never want somebody to have that type of power over you. At any point, she could come and decide, you know what? I'm gonna tear him down. You want to fire me? You want to get rid of me? You want to break up with me? I'm gonna tear your whole plan up. I'm gonna destroy your life. I'm gonna destroy your marriage. I'm going to destroy your job. I'm going to destroy your reputation. She did all of that. Some people say he did it, but maybe the relationship was the catalyst. But in any event, family, you do not want to let somebody have that type of power over you. When he gave her that kind of power, he should have made sure he kept her cool all the way until he no longer needed the type of position that he had at Michigan. Yeah, he blew the bag, man. It says Moore was released on $25,000 bond, but must obey the other conditions, including mental health evaluation, surrendering his passport, GPS monitoring, and no contact with his mistress. He's also not allowed to use alcohol, marijuana, or other non-prescription drugs, possess or purchase any weapons, engage in criminal conduct, or leave Michigan without court permission. His next court appearance is January 22nd, 2026. Boy blew that bag over some butt. $14 million. $14 million. He blew an opportunity at generational wealth. He blew that. He blew that on a side piece. A side piece. Hell knows no fury like a woman scorned. She got him good, man. She got him good. So then he gets to decide he's going to go over there and check her. You gonna tell my wife about the relationship after all I did for you? I had you sitting at the 50-yard line You had free popcorn and unlimited fill-ups. You had unlimited fill-ups on Coca-Cola. You dirty mother. Ooh, man. Let me tell you how this is about to play out. Old girl is going to quit right after right after the settlement. She's going to quit right after the settlement. Right after she get that big bag, she's going to quit. Right now, you better believe she's talking to a lawyer. And they're checking the boxes on how they're going to get inside of his pockets, how they're going to get to that money. I'm going to tell you how cold this game is, though. They may even figure out some kind of way to get that 14 million. They may figure out a way to divert that 14 million. The university don't mind giving 14 million to a scorned white girl. They just want to make sure it don't end up in his hands. I just would not be surprised if they figured out a way to do that. That chick knew that those fans were going to be hard on her. She knows that. The fans are going to be hard on her. They're going to be hard on her. You got rid of our winning coach. Let me tell you something about sports, fam. You can be the worst person on the planet. As long as you're winning, people will tolerate a whole lot of stuff from you. And in most people's opinion, that ain't enough to ruin a man's career. That just wasn't enough to ruin a man's career. Some people say, well, he ruined his own career. Okay, let's say he ruined his career, but you fired him. That ain't enough to fire a man. So they're going to be real hard on her. So she can't wait to get out of that organization. She's going to leave that organization. They covered themselves pretty good by not firing her, though, because she absolutely would have filed a suit and she would have said there was retaliation. It would have been a retaliation suit. She should have been fired. She should have absolutely been fired. But she dumped old boy after she got her settlement for personal services to the coach. Yeah, she's about to get paid, though. She's about to get a real check. She's about to get a real check. Yeah, she played him. And believe you me, fam, don't think that she hadn't been watching the news and seeing all these other women get paid. She knows she the side chick. I bet you $1 to a donut she studied that Shannon Sharpe case very carefully. I wouldn't be surprised if she ends up with the same lawyer that the woman used against Shannon Sharpe. I would not be surprised. You better believe she's watching what's going on. Everybody's watching it. And she's trying to see, well, damn, I've been slutted out over the last few years. How can I get some of them millions? I've been slutted out by a dude worth millions. How can I get, this is my opportunity to get some millions. Oh, you better believe she's coming for it. She's coming for that money. She's coming for that money. She knew exactly what she was getting into. She knew what kind of dude she was dealing with. She should have been fired. She should have been fired. I don't think on the flip side of things, in terms of the criminal side, I do not think that he's going to be charged with all of that stuff. I think they're going to drop most of those charges. And I think that he'll probably end up with some type of deferred adjudication, or he'll end up in a diversion program. In fact, the diversion program will probably be my first option for him. He'll probably end up in a diversion program, and which means that after he serves that program for a certain amount of time, maybe it's a year, maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3, and he goes through these programs, anger management, drug counseling, whatever, it'll be expunged from his record. And he'll be able to go on with his life. However, he ain't coaching in college again. He's never going to get another college job, not at a D1. He's never going to head coach. He'll never be a head coach again in college football. Black coaches don't get those type of second opportunities. They very seldom get an opportunity in the first place. But a second opportunity, nah, that's not happening. When you're Black, you got to damn near be perfect. When you're Black and you're dealing with corporate America, you got to damn near be perfect. And if you're not perfect, you're going to have to be part of the system. You're going to have to be ingrained in the system where you damn near going to have some dirt on some people to make sure that they look out for you. You are expendable to them. That's how they operate. That's why when those Black coaches come in, they got to win immediately. Black coaches don't get a chance to build the program. You're not building nothing. They want you to come in winning day one. And if you don't win day one, you're going to be under intense scrutiny. Every year, your job is on the line as a Black coach. The first time the Pittsburgh Steelers have a losing season under Mike Tomlin, he's gone. They're calling for his job right now, and I believe he has like a 50-50 record or something. Like he has a 500 record. So maybe he's won a game or 2 more than he's lost. But every year it's the same thing with Mike Tomlin. But also I can understand the fans in Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh has a winning tradition. They expect to win. So if you're not winning, I'm talking about winning at all. They expect it to win. They want to win at all. They got 4 or 5 Super Bowls, I think. 5. They got 5. I know Terry Bradshaw had, I think, 4. And then Mike Tomlin got 1. Let's see. How many Super Bowls? Let's see. I think they got 5. 6. So they got 6. They beat the Arizona Cardinals in 2009. That was Mike Tomlin's only Super Bowl. They beat the Seahawks in 2006. And then the other Super Bowls were way back in the 70s and 90s. 75, 76, 79, and 80. Yeah. And they beat the Dallas Cowboys twice in the Super Bowl. I watched all those Super Bowls. That's when football used to be fun. That's before we found out about all of the gambling scams and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Buddy blew the bag, and it's not over. It's not over. Right now, he has an open wound, and it's still bleeding. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. Let's see. Go in here. Let's go into the comments, man. Let me see what y'all are talking about in the comments. China Carter, what up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Let's see who we got. Who else we got here? African Native. What it do? African Native. Pure Michigan. Tracy Franklin. Tracy with the I. Okay, Tracy with the I. Cyrus D. Perkins. Pan Grace. Cambria Ali, what's up? Jam on it. What it do? See Mike. Speaking of mass shootings, we had a mass shooting at Brown University. Unreleased Epstein photos show people engaged in sexual acts and victims in compromising positions, Congressman says. When Trump found out about those Epstein photos and his pictures were all over the files, I bet he was checking everybody's phone. Who leaked that? Check it. Let me see your phone. Let me see your phone. These Epstein files. Unreleased Epstein photos show people engaged in sexual acts and victims in compromising positions. There he is, Jeffrey Epstein. As House Democrats continue to release photos collected from late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's estate, a congressman has confirmed that some of the images depicted people engaged in sexual acts. After the Democrats on the House Oversight Committee shared a selection of photos from Epstein's estate, more than 95,000 photos have reportedly been collected in total. On Friday, December 12th, Virginia Representative Suhas Subramanian confirmed on CNN's The Arena with Casey Hunt that some of the unreleased images depicts lots of people engaging in sexual acts. Asked if the committee has pictures of people engaged in sexual acts among the collected images, the Democratic congressman told Hunt that as part of the release, yes, there are pictures of people engaged in sexual acts. I mean, this is not groundbreaking news right here. Like, we know Epstein was the original freak-off king. We know that. So it's no surprise that they would find a bunch of pictures of somebody engaged in sexual activities, right? That's not a surprise. We know that. But here's the deal. Donald Trump, your president, has been trying to hide those files. He's been trying to keep those files far, far, far away from prying eyes. Why? Why fight so hard to conceal the files if the files actually make you look good? Because that's what he was saying. You know, he was saying when he was running for president, he was saying that, yeah, we're going to get rid of all of these Democrats. I don't know why he was so dead set and talking about, you know what it was? Trump never thought that those files could get out. He never thought that people would be so dead set on seeing the files, because he knows that people pretty much, the people that follow him, he can pretty much puppeteer them. Anything he says to them, they agree to. If he switch codes, they switch codes. Whatever he does, he gets away with them. So he was banking on being able to switch the topic once he got in office. Look, I'm going to run on this platform that I'm going to be transparent and I'm going to show everybody these files. But once I get in, I ain't doing nothing. Once I get in, I'm going to switch topics. That's what he was banking on. And that's where he messed up at. Personally, I don't care what adults do. If it's not illegal, I really don't care what adults are doing. But if it can somehow make Trump look bad, then I'm all for that. Anything that make him look bad, I'm all for that. Legal or illegal, I'm all for it. Yeah. Now, the problem is these people, these adults, engaging in sex with minors. So adults having sex with adults, however they want to get down, that's their business. But when you start talking about adults engaging in inappropriate sexual behavior, where any sexual behavior is inappropriate with minors, but adults engaging in sexual behavior with minors, that's what we need to know. That's what we want to know. We want to know about that. We want to know about that. We want to know which one of them was doing that. We want to know who the names are. We want to know who those people are, who were those kids at the time. These are all grown women now. We need to know who touched those minors, who touched those little girls. The House Democrats are releasing things slowly, building and maintaining attention, but the real is going to come when the DOJ finally obeys the court and releases everything. But the problem is that the court don't have more power than the DOJ. Okay, the DOJ is pretty much running the show. The court is it's all smoke and mirrors at this point. The DOJ has spent too much time privately with those files. So you already know they made sure no matter what happens, that there'll be nothing in there that can really incriminate Trump. There'll be nothing in there that can incriminate Trump, right? So when it's all said and done, they may have some stuff in there that's going to expose some people, but Trump won't be one of the people exposed. And it's going to be enough slowpokes out there who are going to say, okay, there you go. They finally did it. It's released. Trump is in there, but he's not messing with any minors. He's, and you can't even see him even really messing with any other women or men or nothing, So, okay, we'll just let it go from there. It's got to be something there, man, because he fought too hard to not release those files. And then after they started talking about releasing the files, it was some mention of somebody within the DOJ taking those files and going through those files, not somebody, but people, several people hired by the DOJ to scrub those files and get rid of anything that could incriminate Trump. So it don't matter if it's 95,000 files or 1 million or 10,000, 100, whatever. There'll be nothing in those files when those files, if and when those files are released, there'll be nothing to incriminate Trump. If there's something that cannot be redacted, they're going to make sure it only comes out long after Trump is dead. They'll wait 30 years after he died, 40, 50 years, and then they'll say, okay, now you can release it. Well, it ain't going to matter at all. Because Trump's name is shot anyway, no matter what, his legacy is shot. His legacy will be one of failure. His legacy will be that he is the worst president of all time. That's going to be his legacy. He's going to be remembered as the absolute worst president of all time, and I'm not just talking about America, I'm talking about around the world, he will be identified as the absolute worst leader in all of civilization. All the countries combined, nobody will remotely come close to being as bad as he was. Except maybe the slave-owning presidents. Those uncivilized mutts, they never gonna get a pass from me. All of the Jacksons, the Washingtons, none of them suckers. I can't stand none of them. I can't stand that I have to drive down streets with their names on them. I can't stand to look at their names on buildings. None of it. Street signs. Yeah, I can't stand them. I'm gonna leave y'all with this, fam. I'm gonna leave you with this. Hold on. First, I'm gonna give some shots out. Give a few more shout outs and I'm gonna shut it down. Re82, 872. Who is this? What's up, Justin? Vita, what is that? Hey, Vita, is that Vita? Oh man, I can't say that name. What's up, Vicky Slaughter? Sophia, Jam on it, JJ Moss, Jaron Jackson, Coley, Spencer. All right, fam, that's my time. I appreciate y'all joining the live. In the words of George Carlin, late great George Carlin, when you think of America, I want you to remember this. When you think of the oligarchy in America, the people who call the shots, the people who run the legislation, the people with all the money, the people who say that they're here to protect you, they're here to make sure that you have a good life and you have opportunity. I want you to remember these words, as the late, great George Carlin once said. It's one big club and you ain't in it.